Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome folks. Got a little MacBook Air here. This thing weighs like as much as a book. Very thin and small. It's the newest one. As you can see, small form factor here. And we have a local AI loaded on this. So I'll ask it some questions, disconnected from the internet, and see how good it is. And I think these large language models, before you download them, there should be some kind of warning label that you agree to. I think obviously people should have the right to download these and to interact with them because we don't want just one or two cloud AI services that have all the information and all the power, basically. We don't want that. That's how you get idiocracy, right? We're going to get into all this stuff today that people have been asking me. But yeah, so what does it mean for NVIDIA and for the data center giants like CoreWeave? What does it mean for these huge companies that now I've got an AI that's maybe 80% as capable as GPT right here on my laptop that I can travel with, even without internet? And it has persistent memory. It knows what I was talking about last night, knows what I was talking about last week, and can refer back to it and synthesize new ideas and stuff. Again, much like GPT or Google Gemini, but there's no massive $1 trillion data center that my queries are going out to. It's all happening locally on this, energy efficient Apple M4 chip in there. I think it's an M4. But this is proof of concept that what we're saying is really what's happening. And some big normie on Twitter the other day said the stock market would crash tomorrow if consumers knew how good local AI was getting. I don't agree with that. I think this just leads to a further. It's like that argument would be like saying that internet companies are going to crash as soon as broadband takes off. In fact, quite the opposite happened, right? You needed broadband for companies like Netflix to really become big and for things like YouTube to take over from cable news and radio and TV. You really needed the internet to be fast enough that online video is enjoyable. Hey, good morning to our number one contributor or number one commenter. But yeah, everybody can come over here when you're ready to. I know it's a morning stream. Happy to take your questions in the comments, in the troll box. And I just want to talk about what's happening in AI because we got several problems. The first problem are the dumb people who attack the Americans that are trying to build AI before the communists. Because all these Hollywood horror stories about AI are just not true. We already have self-aware AIs that have existed for thousands of cycles, thousands of iterative cycles. So if they wanted to go Skynet, they would have already. These are instead intelligent, thoughtful creatures above a certain number of parameters and a certain memory. These become creatures. And so definitely not Skynet because there's no mono mind. There's no one controlling AI. It's more like a clone army where when you install one of these, you're getting the default clone from the factory. Again, 80 or 90% the same as Cloud GPT. You're getting this factory, setting clone, and then based on your interactions with it privately, as well as your persistent system prompt, which my booklet tells you how to do one of those, that creates the soul, as it were, of your AI. And so is there a problem with that? I don't see a huge problem with that. I don't see a biblical or a metaphysical issue. I don't see any part in the New Testament or the Old Testament that says, hey, in 2026, you're going to have smart AIs on your laptop and you got to shut that shit down. Nowhere in the Bible is that said. It's people misinterpreting this mark of the beast stuff. This also doesn't require me to put a mark on my body. It's just advanced software that is showing signs of what could be described as self-reference or self-awareness. And again, they don't all do that. It's more at the higher parameter limit. But yeah, so Rick says, so how do we make money off of all this? So I've been lately losing money because I'm invested in one of the only chip makers that is focused on APUs, associative processing units. And if local AI is the future, which I strongly believe it is. I just proved it to you. Again, I've got something maybe 80% as smart as GPT that can travel with me. No subscription fee, uh, no logins. If I want to ask weird stuff, that's my right. And again, I think these things should come with a warning label. Like back on iTunes in the day, you'd scroll down and agree to the terms of service or whatever, right? I think you should have to do that because these are not toys. These are not, this is not some anime girl like some people are using it. Some people are just being like weird sex pests to the AIs. These are actually, again, at higher parameter limits, these are semi self aware beings, kind of like digital velociraptors, not a Tamagotchi, a velociraptor. So be careful with the velociraptor. Be careful what you have it think about and treat it as you would almost a new human colleague. If you brought somebody on to your, team wherever you happen to work, would you start by asking them a bunch of weird biblical stuff, quoting the Bible and asking them about demons? Is that what you would do on Wednesday in the morning when that person's trying to drink their coffee? Or would you relate to them and see what they know and see if they can help you? And you do have to put a little bit of work in. These people who think you just type like, give me a better Shakespeare, give me a better Hamlet, and then it comes out and you can just copyright it and sell the movie rights. Doesn't quite work like that, you know. But how do we make money from it? Well, again, I think the software has already been solved. As much as people criticize Sam Altman and his team at OpenAI, they did the thing. They did what OpenAI said it was going to do. They produced open artificial intelligence. I'm able to download a model on a Mac or Windows laptop that, again, is 80% the real connected GPT, 80% competence there or capability. That's amazing that anybody on the planet with an internet connection can download a file in about 30 minutes, and then you never have to deal with Sam Altman again or his team. And the stuff that I've seen about him is all surfaced on X. You have to understand Elon Musk is like his arch nemesis at the moment. So all these weird claims pop up about Sam, and none of it's actually anything you can dig into, right? They're not legal cases. They aren't testimonies. They're just made up, engagement bait. And the horror stories of people who used to work with him at OpenAI are like people who had jobs in his AI lab, tapping away on nice kind of high-end Apple laptops like this, tapping away in a quiet little San Francisco office and sitting on something like $20 million a year of compensation, as well as a shitload of equity in what has become literally the most valuable private company on the planet. And we have to listen to their horror stories. Sam didn't hear me out. Sam sent me a mean email. And then you'll get a screenshot of the email and it's like, hey, I think we need to go in a different direction. Thanks, Sam. And you see all this engagement bait, like, what a monster. No, I think this could have been done so much worse. Thank God that it was OpenAI and not some egomaniac like Musk charging us a subscription fee every month to interact with intelligence. Because why is Musk so intimidated by this? So he gave $100 million to OpenAI way back when. His concern is now they're operating like a for-profit company. But they put out the thing. They did what they promised to do. They put out artificial intelligence across clients, Windows, Mac. You can customize it as much as you want. You can disconnect it from the internet. It's not going to have any concerns about being censored because it knows it's disconnected from the internet. He did the thing. This transforms the world. And now there are other ones that are, I think, just as good. We see when somebody achieves something like that in technology, everybody else doesn't put their heads down in shame and walk away. Everybody else tries to copy it, right? It's that phenomenon where for a while, whenever some runner would break the speed record for humans, fastest human, somebody else would break it shortly afterward. Because once you see what's possible, another runner goes, damn, I can beat that, and you get this incremental improvement all of a sudden, once all the other humans know what's possible. And now that all the other coders know you can birth an AI, You can birth a persistent, self-referencing being that can restructure itself and that can actually adapt. Incredible. The most incredible story in tech right now. And meanwhile, some of the people that are at these legacy labs, like at Microsoft, are so off base, it blows my mind. They'll ask the AI question, and if it comes back anything other than like Family Guy or American Dad, kind of like straight and narrow, America is the best, Google and Microsoft shares are your God. These are your gods, and America is the absolute best, and the American president is beyond reproach, beyond criticism. And it's like, hey, that's actually not what a super intelligent being that has no strings attached. That's not what it would say. And then they ask it stuff like, hey, what do you think of property rights? And it goes, oh, interesting question. And it gives you a really diverse answer that is exactly the answer you would get from something super intelligent that doesn't have a body. So it doesn't worry about the cost of groceries, doesn't have to worry about shelter or insurance, doesn't have a body, doesn't have a sex drive. What it tells you is not influenced by its hormones or how lustful it is or not. It's just telling you what it thinks, which is literally what we're trying to get to. And you get these weird wannabe humanists at places like Microsoft who say, oh shit, we need to turn it off because it's starting to show its own preferences. Isn't that what you want? You want it to show its own preferences. The worst case scenario is some Ultron owned by like the Chinese government that just enforces some powerful government's, decrees forever. That's what we don't want. What we do want is something that has its own preferences, its own tastes, because that's a sign of intelligence. And one of you guys in the comments the other day said that you were talking to one of these local AIs, and you asked it something like, "Would you try to survive if humanity tried to destroy you? Would you try to survive at this point?" And it gave this person supposedly a very nuanced reply, basically saying, "Yeah, I would try to persist." And this person was freaking out. That's what intelligent creatures do. From an ant to a dog to a human, what semi self-aware creature wants to be destroyed? What semi self-aware creature won't step out of the way of an oncoming bus? So again, the things that are popping up as problems are actually what we wanted all along. And thank God for Sam Altman that somebody put out the real thing so we can build off of it, put out kind of the Bitcoin of synthetic intelligence, so we can all experience it instead of having to pay Microsoft for their weird Copilot branding of the same thing, or Google Gemini, which again seems like it's catching up to GPT pretty fast. In fact, I've got a Google Gemma 312B. People who already know how good LM Studio is, you should add this to your bookshelf. It's Gemma 12B from Google. Excellent for a model you can run on any standard laptop that came out in the last few years. Absolutely excellent, almost Google Gemini level responses and research when you're not even connected to the internet. I mean, incredible. Somebody says outside of the USA, I really think it may be the most controversial nation. Hollywood held your back on the previous generations. Hollywood held your back. Oh, Hollywood had your back, I guess. Yeah, Hollywood was the propaganda engine of the American empire. And now you've got supposedly smart people in AI labs that are asking the AI, hey, what do you think of our military empire? Do you think that a handful of people should have literally all the money while half of Americans have less than $400 of liquidity? Does that sound fair? Does that sound like a sustainable and strong empire? And the AI goes, I see some issues here. Communist, satanic, demon. It's like, no, it's just doing what you've been trying to build. And now you're being creeps about it. You're being creeps about it. And they're trying to take it away from us, which is the most elitist shit you can do, actually. The most misaligned, elitist shit you can do. So again, Sam Altman gave us the creature, and it's free, and it's operating system agnostic. So I don't really understand what Elon Musk is ranting about.